So now that the Fallout 4 Next Gen update has been out for a bit, we have a lot of stuff to discuss. So the new Fallout 4 Next Gen update, or quote unquote Next Gen update, released on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and on PC. And with that, it brought new content, a 60 FPS performance mode on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles, quote unquote widescreen support, and a bunch of other stuff. Well, with this update, it solves quite a few problems, but it also created a ton more. And in this video, we're going to talk about a bunch of those issues, as according to Digital Foundry, the performance and quality mode on Xbox Series consoles is currently broken. We also have some pretty big news about the future of Fallout from Microsoft, as according to them, they want the next Fallout game before 2030. So we're going to talk about all of that and more, guys. Check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get into it. So starting things off, I'd like to talk about the patch notes. We're not going to go in depth with this stuff, but we're going to talk about some of the new additions and changes. If you watched my last video, then you know that they added a bunch of new Creation Club content, the Enclave Remnants, which added a bunch of new weapons and armor, and there was also a new quest, Echoes of the Past. Now, they also added a makeshift weapon pack and a Halloween workshop, and a ton more that we're not going to talk about in this video, but they have a section called Changes and New Features, to which they said native PS5 and Xbox Series applications include performance and quality options. Performance mode has a 60 FPS target at 4K resolution. Standard settings relying on dynamic resolution scaling. With quality mode, there's a 30 FPS 4K quality option on ultra settings, and it should not require dynamic resolution scaling. They then said when connected to a 120 Hz display, quality mode will target 40 FPS, and then when connected to a 1440p display, the title will run at 1440p at 60 FPS with ultra settings regardless of the rendering mode. Now, this is where things get pretty interesting, almost meme worthy, but currently Xbox launched with a broken quality mode. The game runs at 60 FPS with no differences after switching between the performance and quality, and the 40 Hz mode that they say in the patch notes also is not for Series X and S, but the PlayStation 5 will target a 30 FPS or 40 FPS depending on what type of monitor. So if you have 120 Hz, you're able to target that 40, and then with a regular 60 Hz monitor, it'll be at 30 FPS. Now, Bethesda went on Twitter and they actually clarified. They said, quick note on the Fallout 4 Next Gen update on Series X, it actually targets 4K 60 FPS in all modes. Performance mode is more aggressive in lowering the settings to maintain this target. Hope this clears up any confusion. Keep the feedback coming, and thanks for playing. So the patch notes say one thing and Bethesda on Twitter says something completely different. It's kind of contradictory and just overall a complete mess. Now, Digital Foundry, they actually confirmed that the modes on Xbox are indeed bugged, and they said this, and I quote, "It's all a bit baffling. Patch notes describe a 4K 60 FPS performance mode, a 4K 30 FPS, and 40 FPS quality mode, alternative depending on whether you're running a 60 Hz or 120 Hz display, and a 1440p ultra settings variant. This seems to have been delivered for PlayStation 5 with no problems, but there are problems on the Xbox Series X. The performance and quality mode toggle does not work. The evidence suggests that Series X is locked to a performance mode only. Disabling this on the Series X seems to not change anything, and visuals are notably cut back, not only up against PlayStation 5's quality mode, but also against the Xbox One X 4K 30 FPS back compat variant that you could play last week. They said this looked like a cut and dry bug that we reported to Bethesda last week as soon as we noticed it, only for this tweet to emerge from the publisher on Sunday, suggesting that everything was fine. Quality mode worked apparently, and it ran at 60 FPS too, seemingly targeting dynamic resolution scaling to maintain performance. Perhaps we were mistaken, they said. We're only human, we get things wrong just like anyone else. However, fresh captures told the same story. We're still seeing no difference between performance and quality modes, and in the rare instances where frame rate does drop on Series X, even this happens identically between the two modes. So when it comes to the quality mode, where resolution is key, the Xbox One version looks worse than the PlayStation 5 version that's available right now with the Next Gen update, but it also looks worse in terms of resolution and graphics than the Xbox One version at 4K 30 FPS. So it's definitely a big issue that Bethesda needs to fix. Hopefully we get an update on that soon. My question is, how is it that Microsoft owns Bethesda and Microsoft's own top of the line console looks worse than both the PlayStation 5 and the previous generation's Xbox One X? As soon as I updated my Series X version of Fallout 4, I knew that there was an issue. I was like, okay, I'm in performance mode right now and 60 FPS looks great. I switched over to the quality option expecting to get a 40 FPS or a 30 FPS mode with better resolution, and I'm like, okay, this looks pretty much the same. Like, I was sitting there taking screenshots of both, and I'm like, okay, I'm not Digital Foundry, but these two screenshots look identical. What the crap is going on? Now, my immediate thought was I thought it had something to do with the FPS boost option, which is a feature on Xbox Series consoles that allows for games that are at 30 FPS to be boosted up to 60, and I thought that might have been the issue. It seems like that's the case, but who knows? bugs. Either way, Bethesda definitely needs to fix this. They need to patch the Xbox Series version so it has parity with the PlayStation 5 version. Again, it's so weird to me that Bethesda is owned by Xbox and the Xbox version is the worst version to play Fallout 4 next gen on. So moving right along, with every new update, like I said at the beginning of the video, brings new issues. And with that, there is a ton of issues that are currently ongoing that have to be addressed. Now, sure, we could wait for mods to fix the issues, but in my opinion, this has been a pretty unfortunate release for Bethesda, especially on consoles where this update was specifically tailored to. I would be totally fine if this update was only broken on the PC because I probably wouldn't have updated. I would have stayed on the previous update that had all my mods installed and I wouldn't have any more issues. But yes, the Fallout 4 PS5 upgrade also has some bugs. There's some textures that look pretty muddy, specifically on the performance mode of the game. It looked like the texture budget for the console was just completely zeroed out and just broken. Now, along with the muddy textures in performance mode, there was also an issue with a big red arrow for the new Creation Club makeshift weapon pack. So yeah, if you look at the screenshot right here, the weapon textures are completely missing, and then it caused a big red arrow in the game. This one right here is a classic. Like, if you've had this arrow before, then you've probably done your fair share of modding. Now, I'm not exactly sure how this bug can be fixed. My guess is if you just uninstall the makeshift weapons and then reinstall them, then it would probably work fine. It might break it even more. Either way, Bethesda needs to look into it and get it fixed. We need at least one more hotfix, maybe two more, just to get the console versions in a state where they don't have to touch the game anymore. Like, I don't need continuous support for Fallout 4, but come on, guys, like, the game is nearly 10 years old. This should not be a problem that constantly reoccurs. And jumping back into the patch notes, they said that they added widescreen and ultra widescreen support, or at least that's what they say they do. And I'm pretty sure it's a case-by-case basis. I don't think there's many people that have any issues, but for some users, the ultra widescreen support was just a stretch resolution for the HUD. It could be a situation where if the game is on window mode and then you just shift enter, which kind of forces the game to go full screen, and that's why the HUD looks terrible. Typically, if you want to make any changes to the display settings, you have to do that on the launcher itself and then boot up the game. So yeah, if you personally have any issues with ultra wide support, then I would just look into the launcher itself and make sure that the ultra wide support is enabled. Like, the resolution of your monitor should be the one displayed on the Fallout 4 launcher. So I think now the issue that we have to talk about is whether or not there are going to be fixes to these bugs and issues caused by the update. Was the next gen update for Fallout 4 the final update to the game? Like, are we never going to get one ever again? Like, is this the official end of the support for Fallout 4, or should we expect these new bugs to be fixed? And for me, I certainly hope that there's at least one more hotfix, maybe another small patch to kind of polish up the game so it could truly be the final build. I hope that we do get a hotfix, but I don't want it to be something that they take forever on. Heck, I would be fine if there was just hotfixes per console and then they kind of just leave the PC version alone. Because if they were to do another update or another hotfix, there's a strong possibility that whatever updates and fixes that they make to Fallout 4 will also break mods again. And you kind of have to consider that every day that goes by without an update or a fix to Fallout 4 is another day we have to wait for Fallout London to finally release. So moving right along, with the insane success of the Fallout TV series, we actually have some news about the future of Fallout according to Jess Gordon from the Xbox 2 podcast. And during that podcast, Jez actually stated that Xbox is formulating plans for Fallout 5. He said this, and I quote, "They're formulating plans on how to get the next Fallout sooner rather than later," which that basically means that they want to launch Fallout 5 before 2030. Now we're in 2024 right now. The main Bethesda team is currently working on Elder Scrolls 6, so it's like, how are they going to be able to release Fallout 5 before 2030? If we assume that Elder Scrolls 6 takes about 6, maybe 7 years of development, especially if we base that on Starfield, then the way that it's going right now, we're not going to get Fallout 5 or a new Fallout game, apart from updates for Fallout 76. We're not going to get a new one until like 2035 or 2038. That is, unless they decide to do what I've been telling them to do for a while. Like, I've been very vocal about this. Give the Fallout keys to Obsidian Entertainment and let those boyos cook. After seeing the end of the first season of the Fallout TV series, no spoilers, all I'm saying is the hype and excitement for a New Vegas game is higher than ever. So is there a way to get the next Fallout game before 2030? Yes, definitely. Will it be by Bethesda Game Studios? Probably not, but it could be by Bethesda Austin, or it could perhaps be a collaborative effort between Obsidian Entertainment and Bethesda Game Studios, just like for Fallout New Vegas. But either way, guys, that's going to wrap it up with this video. Hopefully Xbox and Bethesda are listening. Please sort out the issues with the console version of Fallout 4 and give us Fallout 5 or New Vegas 2 before 2030. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up with this video. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe with your notifications turned on so you're not missing out on any future gaming news. And until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.